All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for My Hero Academia, Season 3, Episode 10.
All for One is here. And, well, yeah, everything is going to be not okay now. Because he is here.
Yeah, so we have two groups split up.
Yep.
A lot of people involved in both groups.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. All for One kind of diverted the episode in the middle of everything happening at the bar hideout area when the Nomas showed up. So that place is like mid-conflict right now.
Okay.
The point is that we still need to resolve that. The other things going on at the other hideout, we need to figure out who's alive. Like, who's actually okay. Yeah. We know that the kids are okay because they weren't in the direct path of the explosion. Yeah. All for One is floating like a hanged like corpse, just kind of like, so are we gonna do this?
Yeah, he's
with his theme, his music.
The Dr. Manhattan vibes are very real.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
okay.
This is bad.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for the eventual confrontation between All Might and All for One.
That's gonna be great.
That's gonna be awesome. But in particular, how Bakugo reacts to all this stuff happening, kind of because of him, even though he knows that. He's not responsible as much for him getting captured. I mean, he kind of is, but in a way, he was targeted by the villains for reasons. Yep, and he'll have to come to grips with that. I think
wherever he is now.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. Bakugo is not with the pros at the moment.
But so the real thing that I'm worried about, though, is if Deku gets onto All for One's radar.
Right, literally, because this is something we had brought up in our Discord discussion, was like, All for One actually can't use Ragdoll's quirk. He has no eyes. So like, unless he has some means of actual vision, it's going to be really weird actually having him fight at all. He might not actually fight. That might be the thing, is that he's just there to get people out and just kind of save, the villains and stuff. But if not, it's going to be very curious to figure out, like, how does this guy see? How does he interact with the world around him?
And if he can use that quirk, we are in trouble.
Yes, if he can use Ragdoll's quirk at all. Yeah, we're screwed. Yeah. So guys, this is crazy. We're hyped. We're terrified. And we're maybe ready. Maybe we're not. I don't know.
I don't think
without further ado, let's do this. All Might is going to lose. I do not think they're going to get rid of him.
Okay.
Like the amount of story potential with All Might has not even been nearly tapped into enough yet.
But like they could still, like, if All Might used the last of his powers here, you know, and he would essentially be gone, but they could still have the character.
That's what I'm saying.
Tell the story.
That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
The real question, though, is how well are the villains gonna make out of this whole situation? Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Say what you will about the opening. It's these 25 seconds right here. It's just really good. Culminating in a very specific part coming up very soon. I keep my ideas on fair. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's right. Endeavor's still in this whole thing too.
He is.
He could actually be really, really helpful.
But that's what I want to see. I also don't, because that means he could be on All for One's radar.
Oh. Oh, good. They're getting warped away. Whoa. That's how precise it is. Even though it's this muck. Oh my gosh, this is intense. Oh! It's like a tornado. Oh, Oh my gosh! Will you need bifocals soon? Oh my gosh! He's gonna jump. Oh, the symbol of peace.
Oh no, no, no.
Gosh.
That sounds like an ending episode. Like, because it said the symbol of peace and everything, so. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, they're alive.
And he's just clapping, just. Wow. Genius. Oh, so he took the hit. Dang, bro.
Oh, this is.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
He. Oh,
Is he
crap!
dead? Oh,
That looked like a kill
that
shot.
might be fatal. Holy crap.
No, you stay and hide.
No, don't move, don't move.
Do not move.
Wait.
Good.
Bakugo.
Oh, is he gonna take Bakugo's quirk?
Ah, so he doesn't care about Bakugo at all. Yeah. Whoa.
Okay.
That's
wow.
chilling.
I really like that he has the mask too.
Yeah.
No.
Good. Thank you, Ida.
Yep.
Thank you, Ida.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah. Do not move.
Yeah. Tactical! There he is!
Oh, that's bad. Oh.
Oh! God.
This is the battle of the gods right here.
Getting limber.
His mistake being just destroying the head.
Right.
He's going to.
Oh boy. Oh god. What the heck? What the heck? Oh my gosh. Whoa. Whoa.
Wonderful. This is not where you're.
Oh. Oh. So is he manipulating Kurogiri's quirk?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh. Whoa.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
So okay,
Bakugo,
so
Bakugo.
Congress has to touch them. All right, this is. Oh, are the kids gonna like jump in and help them? Like,
Oh, nice, Bakugo.
keep doing your thing.
All Might is holding back.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because-
All right. And you could also like text Endeavor maybe, and be like, "Hey Endeavor, please, can we fight?" Okay.
from above.
Wait.
From above.
To pick up on what they're doing?
Yes, probably.
Oh. Nice! Awesome! Yes!
Genius!
Yes!
Wait, so yeah, what's the details?
Uh-huh.
What's the details here?
And then they skip. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
of
so
course.
it's probably gonna work. Okay, he's recognizing that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're gonna move fast, Ida. Alright. Okay. Okay.
Oh!
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and then they use it as a ramp.
Yes.
Yes! And then Bakugo
Bakugo jumps up to them. Yes. Right.
Yeah, right.
Awesome. Yell! Yes, give a manly yell!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Alright, come on! Yeah!
Yes!
Whoa! Oh my god! Oh!
The animation!
Alright.
Oh my gosh!
Okay, so that then they just
You
run.
guys just run, yeah.
Yeah!
Oh,
So he's gonna
gotcha.
try and throw them?
Right. Men become South Poles and women become North Poles. Oh! Nice, Mountain Lady!
Alright, yeah!
Go, you
Go
stupid kids!
Yes! Yes! Yeah!
Oh!
Yeah!
Torito!
Yeah!
Oh,
Yes!
my gosh!
Yes!
This is incredible. Oh
That
my
might not be the
God.
right thing to say here.
Right. Oh, Shimura's friend. Wait, you might have been right, Jacob. Oh, smooth. Oh, sending them out. Yep.
Are they doing this?
Wait, yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
This is giving so much depth to the villains. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that the All for One is the one staying behind
To save them.
but it also might just be that he's.
Oh!
No!
Whoa, comrades.
No!
Wow! Oh my gosh! Oh! All might!
Yeah!
Oh my gosh!
Oh! 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 Whoa! Oh! Oh, he's half.
He's half and half.
Crap! Crap! No!
You were right. Yep, you were right.
Yeah.
You were right.
Yes.
You were right. Oh god.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Wow. Okay. All right. Oh.
Okay.
Way for making that personal. Like, that was epic as hell, but
wow.
That was so personal too.
Oh. Okay. We have a lot to talk about, but
yeah.
But I think you were right, Jacob. I think you were right. Because when All for One saw, I think it was Gran Torino, he said, Shimura's friend. And I was like, wait, is he talking about Deku? Meaning, like, he's referring to Shigaraki's friend.
Right. Yeah.
Shigaraki is Shimura, but he's like, no.
But,
and then we find out that the previous one for All Holder is named Nana Shimura. And you know, Tenko Shimura.
Yep. Oh, this is
my
gosh, this is so good. This is so good. Oh.
Wow.
And he just he tried to do the same head spot thing and it didn't work. Like
no, I don't even think he was going for it.
Oh, really?
No, I don't think he's trying to kill him.
Oh.
He's wanting to capture him. He said he wanted to put him in prison.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. Hold on. I just thought of something. Season 1, episode 10. Season 2, episode 10.
Yep.
Season 3, episode 10.
The thing is that the episode 10 one is not the hype one. Episode 10 is the one where things look really dark.
Right.
Episode 10 is the one where things really...
Yeah.
Well, no,
okay.
that's not true.
Yeah.
210 was not that. 210 had the...
Yeah.
Oh! No, you know what it is?
What?
You know what it is?
What?
The point where Bakugo used his explosion to just leave the area. The animation on it was so good.
And him flying through the air like that.
But the way they made the explosion happen at the initial launch reminded me a lot of 210's animation, actually. The SAKUGA. Yes, it was
right.
It was probably done by the same person.
And it was great because it's something where Deku, with his clever thinking, and all that stuff, he figures out a way to help Bakugo in kind of a way that kind of like how he helped Todoroki.
Right.
But he realizes, oh, I'm not the one that can reach him.
Kirishima was like, your hands can still reach him. It's like, no, Kirishima, I'm gonna help your hands reach him.
Yep. And that's what
so
my
good.
does too. The whole point of Semblance Beast, it's not just what he can do, but what he can inspire others to do. So, like
so good. Okay, but this was an episode of just chaos and fighting. So there was a lot of clever things that they did to I would say also kind of save on not really animation, but by saving on footage time focused on very specific things, by having a lot of callbacks that were meaningful to specific things.
Yes.
But that means, generally speaking, that if this Sakuga bit with like Bakugo and just the general animation of the fight and stuff is what we're getting in an episode that's filled with recap, that means that the upcoming episodes are going to be insane.
Yeah, and not all of it was
insane.
And not all of it was recap that we had seen. It was like recap that was like world building and like throwing new perspective on things.
Well,
to help
yes,
make
it was
the fight personal.
It was contextualized in a lot of times, but that's a thing that I think that shonen tend to do when it's getting up to the crazy moments.
Yeah.
So, All for One is not down.
No.
He is alone.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other thing that I think might be his way out, potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was specified that his teleporting can be used on himself.
Right. Well, I think... Well, okay.
He cares a lot about Shigaraki, so he might have needed to send Shigaraki away so that he can portal himself.
Here's how it works, because he's the focal point, so he can send things away from him, but he can't send himself away.
So he's alone.
Yeah.
Whoa! Oh crap! That's why Shigaraki. Are we gonna start calling him Shimura?
Yeah.
Let's call him Shigaraki for now.
Shigaraki still,
because it's kind of the name that he's taken on.
Right.
But we need to talk about that in a second. But
so,
Shigaraki is aware of at least most of the things I think his master All For One can do, which means Shigaraki at that moment was worried for his master because he's like, no, you're not giving yourself an out.
Right.
You can't get away from this without, like, beating everyone.
Villainous virtues.
Virtues.
Yeah. And the idea that now, because he said that, and because we also have the whole thing of All Might, like, starting to untransform, starting to fade, we don't know how this is going to go.
Well, okay, I think it's almost like painfully obvious now that All Might is going to see his end as the symbol of peace.
Yeah, and that's probably why it was called the symbol of peace.
Right, that's why this episode was called the symbol of peace, because he called that whole name into question, that whole title, by saying that you now stand upon the sacrifices of my fallen comrades and call that the symbol of peace. And in a way, All For One is completely, like, misguided and just insane in a lot of ways. But in some other ways, he is bringing up the point in that All Might has to live with the fact that he's ending a lot of other people's paths. Not their lives, but he's taking away their opportunity for freedom.
Yeah.
Now, that is probably warranted based around the actions that they do.
Exactly.
So, in a lot of ways, you can see where Shigaraki got a lot of his kind of childlike aspect of his philosophy, that he wants to just do what he wants, is that All For One has so much power that he just decides, my actions are, valid because I have power.
Yeah.
If I have the ability to do something, it is right to do.
Yeah.
It's basically he has the ability to do almost anything. Therefore, he doesn't see anything as off the table for him. So of course he gets pissed off at the idea of All Might and his symbol of peace thing.
I loved how they did that. Oh, I've kind of lost my voice a bit.
Yeah, you have.
I loved that bit of All For One being like, using these quirks with these quirks and these quirks. That's a fun combo.
Times 3 and times 4 on
and
air cannon.
Right, and the times 3 thing, that makes it seem like they're basically saying he has multiple of these quirks.
Yeah,
and
duplicates.
They're stacking.
Well, he probably has the ability to utilize all these quirks at the same time. Now the question is he using 3, like, there's probably a very high likelihood that you'd find identical quirks out there.
Right.
But the question is, are these quirks actually identical, or is it more like
the effect, more or less?
The effect of the positive effect, more or less, is identical. Because what I could see All For One having a quirk dedicated towards, in particular, is evolving the quirks by meshing them together. So it's not necessarily that he is taking 3 quirks and using them each individually.
Right.
He took 3 quirks that were in his stockpile,
and he's able to selectively use them, kind of a thing. So
no, he meshed them together with another quirk that made them into something where it's actually stackable. Because I think All Might is the one that has the accumulation of power quirk.
All right. Sure. Yeah,
I think what's the difference than what you're talking about, though?
Nothing really.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. I thought you were saying that he uses them each individually.
No. Well, the idea that basically if he has multiple quirks that aren't exactly identical, but they all give strength boosts, right? He has some other quirk that basically is able to selectively remove the stuff that he doesn't want, say, so he doesn't turn into some blort monster, and then because if there are heteromorphic quirks or whatever, things like that, why wouldn't?
I think that yes, taking away the weaknesses is fine, but I would say he has had access to so much time to gather quirks that we can just assume he gathers the quirks where he doesn't need to remove that much from them. Where he wouldn't even go after heteromorphic quirks because he's
right.
Yeah. And also he called them enhancer types, which I thought was a fun little call out to Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
But specifically, if he's bringing up kind of the way quirks work and stuff like that, an enhancer type quirk is something that I think they brought up actually as what Kirishima's type of quirk is. because his isn't something that is on constantly like a heteromorphic quirk. His is something where he enhances his body.
Right.
And I think it was Deku way back in like episode 8 of season 1, where he's like, yeah, simple enhancer type quirks have like massive potential if utilized correctly, because they're simple, they're not very complicated quirks.
Exactly, and that's what he passed off One for All as, basically just, I have a basic strength enhancing type quirk. But for this episode, okay, so what part, like specific part of this episode do we want to talk about first?
Oh, you just go for it.
Okay, so
I'll talk about all of it.
Absolute props with how they portrayed the fear of all the kids.
Yeah,
like that was really good. They did that extra little nail in the coffin of having Best Jeanist be chest bursted.
Oh, right. So that happened. That happened in the beginning.
Right.
Let's bring this back up here. So Best Jeanist saves everyone. Number 4 pro hero.
Yep. Awesome.
Best Jeanist hero as well. Right. He gets a title for his own name. It's hilarious. Now the thing is that his quirk is something that All for One is like, I don't care about that. No. If anything, it seemed like he didn't want the quirk because it's like, that just doesn't fit in the arsenal I'm assembling for Shigaraki.
Right, exactly.
So die. And then he just blows a hole in his stomach. Now, I think that's a very good thing to bring up, though. He didn't blow his head off.
Right.
He probably could have. In a lot of ways, I think that they're trying to do these types of little things to just avoid character deaths. It doesn't frustrate me. In a lot of ways, I think the having a hero live on after an encounter like that, who's just, wounded forever, maybe forever incapable of being a hero.
Sure.
Like, I think that's a great way to do it as well, because it shows the mark on society of what they can do. People have to be reminded that Best Jeanist is alive, but maybe he'll never be a pro hero again, because he's just he's going to be hooked up to respirators and artificial organs his entire life now.
He's going to be holding like a plastic stomach in his hands that he carries around everywhere. Yeah,
he can't do anything now. Yep. So that's fine. But I love how every single hero that was brought into this whole situation here has a really impactful emotional moment.
Yes.
Did you notice how even like Kamui Woods, when he realized that everyone was being ripped away from his grasp,
he's like, crap, I'm so sorry.
Well, he like begs for forgiveness. He's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I tried. I was doing my best. He had this look on his face of like, there was nothing I can do, but I feel responsible.
And Ed's shot was just like, don't worry about it. There was nothing you could have done. It's that's exactly what we're thinking.
Ed's shot was the only one who I think didn't have an emotional outburst, because he just has this, I am ninja and I am cool and I am...
Although
I kill Nomus by just like straight through their brain or something.
That was pretty cool. Like,
I gotta say, as far as quirks go, just in terms of creativity and stuff, it's very simple to just say, I fold myself thin. I love how easily it can be communicated. It's not like Stains where you have to say, well,
if the blood type is this, then it's 6 minutes. Right. It's 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. His is just straight and simple and to the point, but it's so effective.
And it just goes to show that tentacle powers are
always OP. Yes, especially paper thin tentacle powers. Now, I don't remember if he was what number he was, but he was.
I think he was
top
number 5.
I think he was 5.
Number 5, yeah.
But now I get it. I understand why. We had everything with basically All Might freaking out at the hideout with the bar and stuff. Being like, no, Shigaraki, take me with you.
Yeah,
that was... Oh, that was so good. Then he comes out of the... Oh, wait, no, he does an Oklahoma smash.
Yes, which is basically just spinning around really fast.
which I find really funny, because anyone from Oklahoma knows what
Tornadoes.
They have just tons of over there, and that I just found that to be like, wait, has he ever done an Oklahoma smash before?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't remember one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. No, I can't remember one, but that's just so perfect, because he names them intentionally after the states, just probably for hero branding stuff or whatever. But the point is, I find it funny that like some of the states actually have intentional meaning behind them.
Uh-huh.
Like, why is Detroit Smash his go-to? I don't know.
Yeah, and why for that?
Oh,
one,
maybe
why
it's
did he...
because Detroit is shaped like a hand.
Oh,
The state is shaped like a hand, like this, so it's like a fist.
Wait,
it's a punch.
Isn't Detroit a city?
Detroit is a city. I know.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm stupid.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
Detroit is from Michigan.
Oh, gotcha.
And Michigan is shaped like.
And Michigan Smash, that
doesn't
have the
hit.
same ring to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Saying Detroit.
Yeah, exactly.
Smash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that was fantastic.
Okay,
but then the Endeavor and All Might shade talk getting thrown at each other. What? Why even ask that question? Are you gonna need bifocals soon? It's like, you're getting old, All Might. I'm coming for you. I'm number 2. Oh, actually, that brings up a very good point.
When Endeavor sees something like this, he's just gonna be like, number 2's not that bad.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you're number 2, there's this really, like, sickening feeling of being, like, almost there.
Right,
You know?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of like going to the Olympics. The one who's the most depressed is the ones that, like, get
Yeah,
always
the
silver.
Yeah.
The bronze is like,
I
here!
got one of the medals, you know.
And
Yeah.
silver is like, oh, it was so close.
Yeah.
So Endeavor, he could be in a very interesting position if All Might has to step down as being a hero.
Right.
Because he's number 2. But when All Might steps down, what does that mean?
Right.
Does he like go, well, I'm not the symbol of peace.
I'm the symbol of flame.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, and the idea that like, if All for One is not defeated, you know, like,
oh crap,
like if it's not a both of them knocked out kind of a thing, Endeavor will just be like, yes.
Well then,
he'll put a good face on it, but you know, I can just picture him being like,
let's remember, Endeavor is a fantastic hero.
Oh yeah.
And yet, I think he understands in a lot of ways how he's not All Might. But the thing is I don't think he would hesitate to take the number 1 hero slot.
Absolutely.
So so it's a weird like you know, thing. So I don't know.
He'd just have a different approach. He wouldn't just jump over. He'd be like, all right, I'll be the spearhead of the charge. But
we're jumping ahead here. I was just wanting to bring that up as like, oh yeah, he's number 2 and he's here, and if things go down next episode crazy, he might have to like take control of the situation. Essentially, it would make sense for him to, and he could come over with other heroes like Shot and stuff, and kind of
as the last of All Might's quirk just fades away, and he sees...
Speaking of which, quirk fading away. We'll talk about the shade thing really quick. I loved that. I loved that they had still kind of a professional, friendly kind of tone in certain aspects of that. Like, All Might was like, "Are you okay?" Like there's still
All Might's
some
always
respect.
been like that.
I know,
yeah.
But then in a lot of ways, Endeavor didn't like get angry or anything. It was more of that he was just tossing kind of shade his way. Rather,
Sure.
I just see that as being a thing of where that's different than the way Endeavor acted in the hallway stairwell.
Right, yeah, because it's something where it's like
the tournament.
We're on the job right now, you know.
Well, that's maybe another aspect of it. There's public versus private one-on-one conversation.
Yeah.
So who knows? Okay, so
the kids,
yeah,
they managed to do both. They All Might and All for One are doing their thing. And they're like, okay, we're able to get Bakugo. And okay. That animation when Bakugo was like avoiding all 6 of them, that was incredible. Like, how fast he was moving around and stuff.
Well, you're talking about just the parts where he's dodging and stuff.
Yeah, like the way they made
that
it
was
seem
good.
So fluid. Like that.
That was what we've seen before. That wasn't really.
Yeah, but I don't think we'd seen it quite to this level.
No, we just hadn't seen it in rapid succession before.
Yeah, right.
The main thing is that Bakugo has never really had a tough fight handled to him. Like he's either been one-shotted by really, really surprising, like, powerful moves, but he's never really had a fight that
is a survival fight
where he is truly tested to the limits of his abilities. And I think that this one being one where Dabi and Kurogiri are out, he had a lot of things going for him in his favor too.
Yes.
The really only thing he had to do was dodge. So I found that the animation in that, while it might have been really good, just gets completely overshadowed by everything that came afterwards. Which
where they were putting the priorities on their budget. I'm so
surprised though. Like if you think about what kind of things they put the animation into, they put them into big kind of character moments.
Yes.
Now this one isn't actually as big of a character moment as 210. Like,
no,
not even close. 210 was huge.
Yeah, and it had a ton of like build up to it and everything. It was like very clear build up to it.
Yeah, this has a lot of build up to it.
But
this is more of a thing of like, we, I guess, are getting kind of someone who really likes Bakugo, like, involved in the animation side of things. Because they're just like, we're going to have Bakugo do the coolest freaking thing in this episode. And you thought All Might and All for One going at it was crazy.
And that was amazing.
It was awesome. But wait till you see what we put into the animation on Bakugo just launching himself.
Right.
Like,
and
he was a rocket.
Yeah.
Well, he was not human.
But this was one of the things that I loved the most.
Blew out his arms just for that.
When he launched himself, and I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he launched himself like vertically, or well, not vertically, because of course he was going vertically, but like his body was just
he just kind of,
it wasn't like a Superman fly thing. It wasn't like
it wasn't head first. It was full body first.
Like maximum wind drag possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch that bit over and over and over again, like the 210 bit.
Well,
Oh my gosh! But then we have this whole fight between All for One and All Might. So All for One had probably one of the biggest kind of character moments for him in this episode. That him choosing to get them all out of there,
that was so good.
It brings up a whole lot of questions because I feel like they're setting up a lot of ways for this to go like kind of how we expected it would. That like this was one of the ways we expected it would go. Would be that All for One is not going to be like long for this kind of like, he's not going to be a big threat very soon, meaning that like
or
I don't see him,
he certainly is an end game, and they're going to start showing that.
No, but that's the point. Like if All for One isn't killed, he can still affect the story at some point later. But the main thing is that we have now All Might gone all out. Like at the very least, he started to go all out, and then All for One was like kind of reminding him, like, you know, there's all these people here, you know. So what I see happening is kind of the exchange of All for One actually going all out. All Might has like nothing left, and he gives everything left he has just to get a chance to stop him enough. That everyone else can deal with him.
It's like a straight up like, I'm not left-handed either kind of a thing. Like
they constantly one-upping each other. But
it has a really good reason for it.
Right, but that universe, that plot line, that world line ends with All Might being defeated every single time. And if All Might's defeated, that's the thing I want to theorize about, because I feel like there's like what are your odds essentially on All Might not being defeated? Like 1 in 1,000. Like
I'd say.
Well, let's give it a little bit more credit. Let's say 1 out of 50.
I'll give him a
2% chance.
I'm feeling conservative. I'll give him a 7% chance.
Okay, so guys, we are like in the 90% like thinking All Might's going to be defeated. The question is, what will happen if he gets defeated? But how will All for One go down? Will All for One die? I don't think so, because he stated that he wants to throw him in prison. Now, something changed in All Might not recently, but in between the last fight and this fight.
Well,
and I think that's going to get brought up because they brought up the previous One for All holder as well.
And I'm almost wondering whether that's actually... Okay, so it could be that when All Might, like, face-splatted him, that was actually a moment of, like...
Weakness.
Of weakness and rage, because he
just killed the previous One for All holder.
Right? And that I love that just I would so want to see like
I would
that in detail.
Wait. That's how they can make this next episode not be about just their fight. It can be about the backstory. This next episode or two will go into the actual like linear events of the last fight.
Sure.
Like, wouldn't that be crazy?
That would be so amazing.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting chills
Uh-huh.
just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because even if we don't see like everything animated and stuff,
Right.
I want to get like a little bit of a play-by-play of what happened.
Yep.
Because we know that Gran Torino was there.
I believe so. Yeah,
I believe so.
Uh-huh.
What's her name? Nana
Yanana.
Shimura.
Uh-huh.
She was there.
Yep.
They were going to stop All for One. Now, the question is, did they go there with the intent to kill him? I would say no.
Right. With this new development.
Because they're saying right now that All Might is coming to put him away.
Which is
something that's blowing on my mind right now, because it shows really that maybe in some weird way, All for One and All Might have this kind of weird relationship because of lineage, that there's been a lot of them, but it's that maybe that's kind of One for All manifested in All Might's way of trying to stop All for One, is that, I could kill you. But I'm going to do the hard thing.
Right, because I am the symbol of peace.
Because I'm the symbol of peace,
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to stop you without killing you. Because in a lot of ways, All Might stopping All for One and maybe not just exposing him, but also like showing that even someone like this can be put through the justice system, can be put through by the rules. It keeps society intact.
Right,
and the perception of heroes intact.
Exactly, because let's just say, okay, even if All Might did not expend the last of his powers.
Right.
But everyone sees him Patriot style beating,
like
a bloody
we theorized it could be,
the blood splattering up and all that stuff because this guy needs to go down, right?
He needs to be stopped.
be stopped.
You can't let this guy be free.
Exactly.
Like, even if
killing him is probably the best way.
Right, but that's the thing of where All Might separates this whole thing, is that he could, if he was a simpler hero, if he was a simpler character, he might go, well, this guy's getting prison for life anyway. Pop. And then he loses the moral battle, the battle for society.
He'll recover eventually. He did it once, he'll do it again, but it'll be inside a locked down cell.
Right, but that's the kind of thing where All Might's thinking so much more. He's not thinking about just himself.
Right.
Like, in a lot of ways, this is showing actually how great of a character All Might is. I think this is something that might have bugged me if My Hero Academia didn't go into this thing so often. This was a very recurring theme in the story.
Because otherwise it would just feel like, okay, we can't actually say kill on this show, so...
Like, that's what Avatar: The Last Airbender had to deal with.
Exactly.
There's the other thing of, like, well, we don't want to kill off our ultimate baddie before the end of the story,
exactly.
So we're going to keep them around forever. No, this is because All Might has to think about like the needs of the many. He's so selfless in this aspect that it's got to be this really cool thing that's actually going on ideologically between All for One and All Might.
I love how they did that.
But I think there's more to it. I think we're gonna get into it more in the next episode.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine actually them both being like beaten and bloodied and like just talking at each other? Like a great epic conversation, and everyone's way too scared to like go in and interfere, because it's like there's concussive force coming off of those guys when they actually fight. But then it's like, people are watching, people are like, oh my god, this fight's going down, but now they're talking. Right. Oh wait, actually, that's where things could get crazy. Is if they actually end the fight, before it's actually over. Like, my point is, they have a lull in the fighting. They start talking, and they're just, like, verbal blows, back and forth. And it's like, oh, this hurts, because All for One has probably got some serious stuff he can throw All Might's way. Like, the kind of thing of, like, the former One for All holder.
Right.
Kind of the thing of, like, oh, no one actually knows about that fight. Do you want me to tell them all? Voice amplification quirk. And then he's like, All Might, why don't you tell everyone about how you beat me bloody into the ground, and or how about how you killed like other heroes or other villains or something like that. Like the kind of thing where he would discredit All Might. But then All Might just calls him on his BS, and it's just like, look who's talking. Like, look at, and then it's just this constant, like, really great ideological battle going back and forth. I would prefer a bit more,
like I love that they worked all that stuff into here, but I wouldn't want them to forget about the fact that they've been building up to this for a while.
I know. I'm trying to savor it, Jacob.
Oh yeah.
You're wanting a quick end. I want this to be drawn out in like. I want them to milk this thing. Like. Oh yeah. Like because if they just start punching. I'm actually worried All Might is going to kill All for One. Like.
Well, right, because he can, as we've seen, he can hit pretty hard.
Pretty hard.
Yeah.
All Might can like. If he doesn't punch up and he punches down,
like he did with this last one.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I'm saying, but without holding back, I'd be worried about the tectonic plates in the area. Like that's my.
Right, yeah, we saw that tactical All Might thing in the opening. That might have just been a stylistic thing, but I mean, this is the thing where buildings are getting knocked over, right? Like it's already started happening from All for One.
Remember when he punched the Nomu?
Yeah,
the one with shock absorption.
Yeah. I think that was after he had overloaded the shock absorption, though. But yeah.
But the point is that a person with a quirk that's shock absorption got nearly sent into space from a punch.
Yep.
One punch.
Yes.
If All Might decides to pulverize All for One out of desperation...
Well, no, what would be crazier, and they're totally not going to do this.
Oh, what's that?
What would be crazier is if All Might decided, you know what?
To grab him?
The ground isn't hard enough.
What are you saying?
Because the idea is that, with every...
right, I know what you're saying.
With every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? It's like, but see, the ground isn't one for all. So, I'll just use my hands.
Just grabs his head and squishes.
Rips him to pieces.
That's where I think we've again stepped into.
No, I know.
This is not that show. All Might doesn't want to kill him.
Right. So that's not going to happen.
Also, maybe that's another part of it. The conversation. Okay, do we think any of them are going to die? Because
possibly.
I
that
think
is absolutely.
I think it is on the table, but I think it's about 10% likely comparatively to the 2% of All Might actually not being.
Gotcha. I'd say there's about a 20% that one, or maybe 25% chance that one of them will die here.
Okay, I think that because All Might said that he's trying to put him in prison, that he's trying to imprison him, he's going to put all of them away essentially. I think that
reduces the likelihood.
There's almost no chance All Might is going to kill All for One. And I'm trying to think about the big picture here. This is probably very early in the My Hero Academia general story kind of things.
Right.
And if you take out, All for One now, there's the very real possibility that Shigaraki just wouldn't be endgame then. Well, he wouldn't get the power to transfer.
And that's the real issue, because
what I think All Might's going to do is they're going to put, All for One away somehow. They're going to have some super maximum security X-Men level prison for designed specifically for this guy. That's gonna be awesome. But you know what that leads to? This is me going way too far ahead.
Okay,
who else is in prison right now that people are really big fan of? Yeah we could have a prison break arc at some point.
Okay, that would be really
wouldn't that just be awesome?
That would be really cool.
I would love that. I would love that. It's also the kind of thing of what if I had this very, very funny kind of thing where there's no way All for One would be anywhere near anyone else's cell, but the idea that what if Stain and All for One were across the hallway and Stain's by the way, I think you're full of and he and Stain's just berating All for One about how he's just the picture of hypocrisy and all these things.
That's making me think of Dr. Manhattan versus Rorschach. One of those things where, because Stain is probably as close to Rorschach as we could get, and All for One, with all his quirks, I mean, he's not that far off from Dr. Manhattan.
Well, he's still a physical being.
Yes, he hasn't descended that plane.
We talked about that,
yeah. And they made that very clear here, which was so good. Okay, because all right, here's the thing. The expected thing in this episode is that there would be something of All Might sacrificing himself to defeat All for One, right?
That's what I think's going to happen.
Which is probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But in this episode specifically, they made it so that they were setting it up so that it's all for one.
Right.
Sacrificing himself to save
Shigaraki and all of that.
And everyone else just because Shigaraki cares about them, I guess.
No, I think that's a very great thing to bring up, in that, yes, he is saving them, but the thing is that he values them because
they're comrades.
No, because Shimura or Shigaraki values them. He calls all of the other villains that All Might has defeated his comrades.
Right.
Now, this is just a very odd thing in typical superhero.
Right.
Like, you don't expect Emperor Palpatine to care about stormtroopers.
That's showing the influence from Darth Vader, not of the caring about comrades, because Darth Vader did kill them, but the fact that Darth Vader was a lawful evil type villain.
Ah, yes. Okay.
So he basically took that same thing. And he's like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna do that same sort of thing.
Sure.
But because
Darth Vader choked Imperial officers out just for talking back to him.
Yes, I mean, he did, like, the specific standards that he held himself to were very different.
That's true.
But,
but that's a great point. So,
because that black helmet was not at all, like, trying to make himself
we got the Vader
look.
The Vader references, yeah, for sure. But that's a great point to bring up, is that he is very lawful evil in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, he has some standard by which All Might has failed. And I think that that's something by which we're going to get more into when we get these next episodes.
Which is so exciting, because they're taking the thing that we were wanting to have happen of, oh my gosh, this is going to be so epic, right?
Yeah.
And then they basically were like, but you know what? We like to take it one step further beyond. Plus ultra, almost, if you will. So we're going to take this, and we're going to add something else in there that's extra juicy.
Oh, yeah. And Jacob, I think you were right. You were right.
Oh, about it's Shigaraki.
Shigaraki.
The son of the previous one for all.
Tenka or Tenki Shimura? Because I went back and looked at the...
and he said it again this episode.
Shimura Tenki. Yeah. Tenki Shimura. So Shimura is the last name. The previous one for all holder, Nana Shimura.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What was your theory last episode, Jacob?
That he's her son.
Yeah. What the heck? So...
we didn't even see the name thing.
I don't even know how you came up with that. That's just incredible.
Because what I was the thing that was just making me be like, okay, this isn't adding up. Is why does All for One care about Shigaraki?
Right.
I love the fact that he does care. Again, villainous virtues and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like, one of my favorite theories I came up with in the previous one was that it didn't matter necessarily that this kid was anyone, but I liked the idea of having the hero lineage of someone, because it's someone that should have been a hero just by being in a hero family potentially.
Right.
But they were twisted by All for One to become something that would be presented to All Might as the ultimate, just like Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah,
I took your chosen one, or I took a Jedi Knight essentially,
or
turned
even
into
like
the dark side.
the Joker with Harvey Dent.
Sure. Yeah. But that's just a classic villain thing. But in this case, if it's a child of a previous One for All holder, this is something that is really personal. So let's think about this. But let's think about this in direct kind of mechanics of interaction here.
Right.
The previous One for All holder, she was very instrumental in the defeat of All for One.
Yes.
Finally. That's the point, is that was the first time he was defeated.
Right.
He had ruled. He had control for a long time up until that point. So she was essentially the instrument of his demise.
Yep.
All Might was the final nail in the coffin, as you so aptly put earlier.
Right.
So
when all you've got is a hammer, all life's problems start to look like nails.
So that's a thing that's very interesting, though, is that the age of Shigaraki is such that we know that the kid was interacted with by All for One before
Maybe
before before the fight.
We don't necessarily know because we don't know how old Shigaraki is, and what were you gonna say?
Let's just think about this logically here. 5 years is when the previous fight happened.
Yep.
5 years ago. So what you're saying is that I'm just saying there's a higher likelihood that Shigaraki is, let's say when that flashback happened, he is not older than Deku. Deku is 15, right?
Right.
Okay. So let's say he's at least a year younger. I would say he's probably like 10 there.
I would say he was.
Come on, let's take a guess.
I was thinking like 12, maybe 13.
Okay, so if he's 12 or 13,
that would put him at 17 or 18.
Shigaraki?
Yeah. With 5 years.
I would say Shigaraki has the look of someone who's very hard to judge the age of.
Yes, absolutely, because the gray hair, grayish blue hair, and all that tends to do it, and the hands on the faces.
That's a thing, but the main thing I would bring up is that they call him a man-child in the Pro Heroes when they're kind of talking about him and stuff, and I get the vibe that Japan wouldn't consider him to be a man if he was 17. And I think 18 is even pushing it. So maybe he's closer to more like 20 or 21. There is no way that kid is anywhere close to 15 or 16.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things where a lot of times in anime the ages, and especially when they do little time skips, like Your Lie in April, for instance, right? When they show...
just be careful about talking
No,
about Your Lie in April,
yeah. I haven't... But just in the little bits that they've shown of Kosei as a kid, right? That's supposed to be 2 years earlier. That doesn't look like a 2-year difference.
Yeah, I think MHA. I'm not gonna even bring up Your Lie in April here.
Okay.
I think that's a really okay. Just take comparison in that this is a plot line that's actually happening. Do you think they would casually throw around numbers without actually having it all planned out? No. I think that the kid is a kid then. He was not in...
he was not in high school.
He was not in hero school.
Right. Yep.
At the very least, what I think this age when he came to Shigaraki was at an age where the incident with the father probably being killed probably by Shigaraki or Tenki Shimura's quirk had just happened like previously. All right, let's walk this through.
Okay.
He does the thing to his dad, and it's horrible. The dad is mourned because he's the husband of the previous One for All holder.
Right.
And they don't, mainstream society doesn't know that they're the One for All holder, but it's like, no, he's probably a great hero along with her and stuff. That happens. Now, the fight with All for One, maybe...
Yeah. That's actually why I think it would have happened after, even if it wasn't long after. But then because his face was splatted. So, but the idea is that if I could totally see something happening where he kills the father after the mom had died, and that's why he's alone. Right? Yeah.
I would think that if he had a problem with his quirk malfunctioning that killed his dad, it would be done at a young enough age where they hadn't fully identified what his quirk was.
Sure.
So that this kind of thing could happen. And then if he comes to him and he says, the heroes have kind of looked over you, that sounds more like they thought that the heroes were like, hey, it's okay. It's not your fault. It's just your quirk and stuff. But they didn't give him the mental health care to help him out. So he's being left at home while his mom goes and does, missions and stuff. And then All for One uses this opportunity to go and corrupt this kid. Now, here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing. What if the reason why they go after All for One
is because he
was already wait, no, but then they would have known about shit. Okay, right. I am really confused because I haven't. I'm sure there's just something I'm missing here, but I do not believe that the kid was interacted with
before, or
the kid was sent to be corrupted and stuff after the fight. because for another reason, there's not necessarily the 1 second after the fight he went to go corrupt Shigaraki because he had to go get a regeneration quirk to actually not die when he got killed, you know?
Yes.
So
so it was probably before.
And
I don't know, it's tough. It's tough. Because if suddenly your kid disappears, I would think
maybe he doesn't disappear. Sorry, go ahead.
Gotcha.
Meaning like he's a good person that's been coming to him, and he's like, well, I'll teach you, I'll help you out.
Okay,
it'll be our secret, you know.
Especially
that's really sick.
Okay,
like,
that is
really
sick, and they could absolutely do it. Where if the previous One for All holder, right, is even though she might not have been All Might level, she would have been a really awesome superhero, right?
Right. She would have been someone that the pros would have looked up to as like she's very much needed, and she's probably not at home much.
Exactly. She's probably very busy. It could be something. But then there's the whole thing of if he disintegrates his dad while she's still alive, you would think that would be something that would, I don't know, attract attention of the other parental figure that's still alive.
We're missing something.
What if he was actually like a secret love child or something?
Oh, wait. So the previous One for All holder, we're going to give her some faults before we even get to know her.
Now here's the this was something that popped into my head, but it doesn't work with the whole hand that, father and all that stuff. Is what if All Might's the dad? And that's why it was such a big deal that he wasn't able to save her and all that stuff. That's why he got so mad. That's why he pulverized his face. But it doesn't fit with the father thing. So maybe that's his biological father that he killed or something.
No, please, no.
His adopted father, maybe?
I actually really got on board with the theory for about 5 seconds.
Right, but then it doesn't hold together.
It doesn't hold together at all.
Yeah.
No.
Especially since, but it's weird because they still brought up the idea of All Might having a secret love child with Todoroki, thinking that's what Deku was. It was comedy, but they totally could have been hiding something in there. But yeah,
but that'd be way too meta, That's breaking the fourth wall to do foreshadowing, because they have no connection to any of this whole thing. Any of this.
Well, no, I know, but it could just be a chance thing that Todoroki assumed that, but to the audience, it's the way to seed that idea. But again, the whole father hand thing.
Here's a way it could work: is that Endeavor is the kind of person who's really petty, and he actually has an active role in spreading misinformation about All Might to kind of discredit him. And Todoroki, as a kid, heard about some of these rumors and stuff, and All Might has a bunch of secret love children out there. And he's like, wait, are you one of All Might's secret love children or something? And that's the kind of thing celebrities, they would get that kind of
tabloids,
and stuff throwing that kind of misinformation out there. So that wouldn't even be a stretch to say that people wouldn't assume that All Might, because that's maybe another thing that's a little bit awkward. Is hey, All Might, you've been single for a long time, right?
Right.
Yeah, I never married. I never had a girlfriend.
Wouldn't you want to,
Wouldn't you want to have kids? Well, here's the thing. It...
Oh,
wait. Maybe he's not having kids because of what happened with the previous One for All
I'm just
holder.
saying how horrible, and what a way to make it even more personal, not just Deku and Shigaraki, because of all the stuff that's happened in the show. But if it was also something where he is basically how, he is then the physical embodiment of how All Might failed, because his own son, he let basically be abandoned somehow or other, right? And get taken in by the villains. But again, it doesn't fit with the father thing.
Wait. No, you're right. It actually can work.
How?
So, the reason why Shigaraki got abandoned and just left alone was because he could have been in the foster care system. So he was with an adoptive father adoptive parents.
Because both the parents are heroes and they aren't able to take care of him, kind of a thing.
So the heroes literally looked over him.
And
what happens is that this is a very sad thing, but Jacob and I have a lot of experience with kind of handling the whole foster care system thing. Kids can just get passed around sometimes, and they'll get not literally lost, but they'll get kind of lost in the system.
Yeah.
And it's really stupid how how bad it can get. If he ends up being in a situation where his parents die in a horrible accident, he's not labeled a villain. he's not labeled as like, you are in trouble, young man, because you used your quirk. It's like, he didn't know his quirk. It's just a horrible thing, and everyone goes, oh, I'm so sorry, and then they leave.
Right.
And he gets thrown into the system again.
And
All for One could have just been like, I'll adopt you.
He hears about it, and he's like, oh, really?
Yeah. And he just goes, I will adopt him. And it's basically the thing of like, no one wants this kid because his quirk is one that kills you if he touches you with all 5 fingers. And, so he could just be like left at a home or a shelter, and then All for One comes in and is like, it's okay.
Right.
For I am here. And it's like,
and here's one of the things that could have been crazy too. Okay, if they built up, all right, because All for One was throwing some serious shade, not just at All Might, but at the idea of being the symbol of peace.
Yes.
Now, what if there was something where basically they made it one of the reasons that Shigaraki was given up for adoption, and we're in deep territory here.
Bear with us, guys.
Bear with us. But they could have done something where basically, if it was like an illegitimate child, basically, they didn't want something like that to be something that would shine badly on the symbol of peace, and that was one of the other reasons why they gave him up. Not just the fact they wouldn't have time to take care of him.
Like, I think that one's maybe, actually a little bit weak.
Yeah, that's probably going a bit far out there.
I don't think illegitimate child is something that Hero Society necessarily will look down upon.
Okay.
Hero Society has Endeavor as the number 2 hero.
Okay.
Endeavor might not publicize exactly what he's doing.
He probably has a very dedicated PR team.
Yes, to keep his public appearance, his public perception very good.
Right.
But the thing is that there are probably a majority, I'm telling you, of heroes who are kind of looking the other way because, for the most part, Endeavor's whole thing,
he does a lot of good.
He
helps a lot of people.
Well, not only that, they wouldn't weigh it like that. That's really gross. What they would do is say like, well, they were legally married, they're husband and wife. There's nothing like wrong with them having lots of kids.
It's not my responsibility to question their home life,
Yeah, exactly. It's invading someone else's privacy. But they could know about. Well,
he's a strict dad.
He's not only maybe a strict dad, he might be abusing her quirk in order to make kids. And that's what they said in the previous bit, that quirk marriages used to be a common thing. Like, it used to be more generally acceptable.
I wonder if All for One might have actually propagated that a bit as a way to harvest better quirks.
Whoa. That would line up timeline-wise for sure, because he was said to rule Japan, right?
I mean,
that's actually a really interesting thing to think about, is that maybe the reason why we don't agree with a lot of the laws and why they're about security over a lot of other things is because they came from a time period where we had to get away from the old structure of things, which in a lot of ways was influenced potentially by All for One in the shadows.
I just got a really weird... thought.
What?
Quirk prostitution.
Well, what do you mean?
Basically, so if people have strong quirks, right? Then people would basically buy their ability to produce children.
Yeah. I can definitely see that being a thing. The MHA is probably not going to ever go into that.
But that's one of those things where it's like, they've set up this world and they mentioned quirk marriages. Okay.
Like that's the kind of thing that quirk marriages is essentially that already.
Right.
Quirk marriages is just putting a proper kind of word on it. But it's essentially that, Jacob. Like there's a very real possibility that maybe even a lot of the sex between Endeavor and his wife wasn't even consensual.
Well,
that's almost plausible without like any kind of evidence. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. But with All for One, potentially like having this whole thing set up to essentially spite All Might.
Yeah.
Like All Might made a very good point. He said, "You toy with people." He said, he called out,
that was
like,
really good.
You steal, you take, you
was
belittle people.
So good.
I was really like getting emotional there because I'm like, wait, All Might.
This is specific.
This is specific.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And I think that this is the kind of thing where All Might, has seen evidence of this.
Sure.
But it's not going to be as personal until All Might finds out potentially what he's actually stolen, what he's actually toyed with.
Okay. That's like, all right, we've talked about the whole idea of the Aang versus Ozai and the Zuko versus Azula type thing.
Yeah.
That's building this whole Deku versus Shigaraki thing up even more because it's taking the personal stakes and just plus ultraing
so
it
high
through the roof. Like,
oh my gosh. In a lot of ways, it gets me really excited about Shigaraki's character development.
Yeah.
Because Shigaraki as a character is one that we knew he had some kind of tragic backstory and stuff.
Right.
But we were introduced to him in a very Zuko kind of state. Where he's one note, he has a very specific kind of angsty, kind of childish stupidity about him.
But here we got like parental lessons from All For One of like, oh, that's okay, you failed, just keep trying.
That's true.
Just persevere. You'll get it eventually. Like,
and you'll be able to try over and over and over again because I am here.
Because I am here, yeah. And that's
I'm
what
providing
I'm here
a
for.
safety netting for you as a parent. Oh my god. This show is so clever. Like, if we go into like really deep here, like we could, All For One is actually mimicking All Might intentionally because I think he's trying to take what Shigaraki understands about heroes and just muddle it. He's trying to muddle it with so much other stuff to where he's able to look at someone like All For One and All Might and he just goes, they're just strong. That's really the only thing that you can say about them that's true. But there's nothing that separates them other than they are stronger than the rest. That's why they have the power to make these decisions. So he looks at All Might, and he actually, in a lot of ways, has that kind of, the Avatar gives Zuko hope. Like, All Might is kind of the hope, in a lot of ways, for Shigaraki. But also, All For One is the one he trusts, is the one that he has the security and the feeling of family with. And so
all of this
good.
not only will it make the final conflict and everything between Shigaraki and Deku so much more meaningful, but it will also make the whole idea of Shigaraki not being, killed or defeated and locked up or whatever. I mean, maybe locked up, that could totally be a thing that needs to happen. Okay. But the idea of the Shigaraki redemption, and that's why Deku becomes the greatest hero, it will make it so much sweeter and so much better.
Like, I like how you've... I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but I came up with that theory originally.
Oh, okay.
just I wanted to put it out there. I'm being a little bit egotistical right now, but like that was my idea initially. I mean, no, let's be real. Like, we both come up with a lot of theories that we weave them together with each other, and we end up helping them become stronger and stuff. Right. So sorry.
Yeah, well, like
this is our theory. Yeah, but I'm sure that like anyone who's watched My Hero Academia with some analysis has came to that conclusion. Yeah, it's not a unique theory, probably.
Right? They've been building up towards it really well. Yeah, while at the same time making it so that not making it so like obvious and like air horn. This is what we're doing, so that you basically start to lose out on some of the impact of the conflicts with All Might and All For One.
Sure. So let's recap here. All For One is probably going to defeat All Might.
Yeah.
All For One is probably going to lose because All Might is going to sacrifice himself to stop him. Yeah. So it's probably going to go the way that we theorized. I think it was the second theory we had was that
consequences on both sides.
Consequences on both sides. The symbol of peace is going to be
not the symbol of peace.
Not the symbol of peace anymore.
Right.
Society is going to have the repercussions of that take effect. And it's going to put a crazy burden potentially on Deku at some point.
That's if he didn't have enough of one already.
So one of the ways that they could end the symbol of peace really before the fight, though, is the thing I've been kind of touting as being a really big thing is that this is a big thing that's happening, right? Yeah. Camino Ward is blown up. All this stuff is happening.
The news will be all...
How fast will the news helicopters get over here?
Will they really see quickly? All Might transform? Yeah.
Well, no. They'll just see a person that has All Might's suit costume on. And he's a haggard, tired, frail man.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, wait, pictures, every angle.
Yep.
It won't matter whether or not All Might lives, dies, loses, wins after that. They're going to have to be like, wait, can you actually be a hero? Can we trust you? Can we put our faith in you?
Exactly.
Can we believe in you? And the news are going to be like, we can't believe in All Might anymore because
fear.
Yeah, fear. It sells so well. It's so stupid. But here's the other thing though. If they spin this, the heroes, in the right way, they can get this actually to be where that's okay. All Might did what he was meant to do. He stopped
he saved
this
us,
one. He saved us all for like, they could even be a little bit too bold and say he saved us and we're entering a new era of hero society, essentially. And I'm passing down the torch to the younger generation. And he might not say exactly how he's doing that, but he might actually name Deku. Could you imagine?
Yeah, no, I know.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, that.
I think also there's a high likelihood of that not happening because Deku left the scene with Bakugo.
Right. Which
so well.
I
think that's good, but there might be something that happens really soon where All Might is like, yes, I can't be a hero anymore, but I will be dedicating 100% of my time to raising up the next generation of heroes. And he will be then the old wizard kind of trope of the mentor and things. But he might be like, no, I'm training up specifically this one.
Yeah, this boy.
If he says why, because that's another thing, like, All For One knows the secret. Yeah. You know how we talked about a while ago about how there's all these people that know my secret.
Right.
All Might cleverly didn't bring up the fact that All For One has to know the secret. Like,
exactly.
Of course he does, right?
Yeah. Right. He said the previous One For All holder in this episode.
Yeah. So that means at any moment
he could just
tell
everyone.
By the way, news helicopters. Yeah. This guy transferred his quirk into someone else, and that's why he's failing you right now. He is not bearing the burden on himself because he's a coward. Like, he could. Those are the kinds of verbal punches he could throw.
And he could also say, "Oh, and by the way, we're pretty sure it's this person from the things we've seen him do." You know.
Like, that seems a little bit silly.
Yeah, but like,
I think him actually saying that, it doesn't really matter, is that someone else out there has All Might's quirk. People will then be like, "Oh my God!" Like, coming up with their own theories.
And then just about half the people in 1A will be like,
oh, yeah.
Maybe not Mineta, but,
Mineta's smart. He got like ninth in the semester thing. The people who are dumb are like Kaminari
and like Mina and
Well, yeah, Mina and Kaminari, they were the lowest test scores. But then again, that doesn't necessarily mean they're not intelligent. It just means they're
smart.
They're not book smart like Momo is.
Right, exactly.
Oh my gosh! But
and then Bakugo would just be like,
"Yeah, that's the one. That's the reaction I really want to see is Bakugo, because he's gonna be like, you mean to tell me that this kid was actually quirkless, and the only reason why I'm getting showed up all this time is because All Might chose him. Why?"
Yeah,
and I think that's going to be the thing of like...
Here's the other twisted thing about
Bakugo will probably understand why.
Well, he'll probably understand why, but he could also lead it back further, and he could say, so, if I had been able to save myself from the sludge monster...
Oh, that's where he'll take it?
Like he could. Like, then Deku wouldn't have saved me,
Oh, well, that's more of the thing of that, not he would have become... someone that
but just
would have looked
not
at.
Deku.
It would just have been not Deku.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So Bakugo getting put into the sludge monster's grip in that stage was exactly the reason why Deku had a stage to show that he could be the next One For All holder. That's something that I could see Bakugo coming up with, but I don't think he would actually be as mad about that. I think if anything, he would want Deku to prove to him that he's actually worthy, like now.
Oh, sure.
Present.
Yeah, because he'd still think Deku's weak. Like, come on, he doesn't.
Deku's not only weak, he's not actually trying as hard. Like, if you think about how Bakugo is always like giving 100% into everything.
Yeah.
Deku's whole quirk is about not giving 100%, because if he does, He kills people and himself, basically.
And that's one of the things where like, okay, once All Might goes out, will that mean that Deku's, like, power will start, like, basically growing faster and
increasing.
faster? Because here's the thing.
Sure.
I love the whole him being the greatest hero because he saves Shigaraki.
Right.
But as far as, like, doing, like, full combat and all that stuff, hopefully he's not needing to constantly worry about breaking his body. Because, as the doctor said, 2 or 3 more times and you won't be able to use your arms.
Well, 2 or 3 more times breaking your limiters and going plus ultra.
Doing what you did. Yeah.
Well, that's the point, though. He was talking about how your body puts limiters on you so that you can't actually use 100% of your actual human strength. And that if he does that with One for All, the essentially kind of way to translate that into is going plus ultra. When you push past your limits.
Yeah.
Deku has almost never done that.
Right.
And I think that was the first time he ever really did that. He has punched at, points where it broke his arm and stuff. But
even double tapped with his fingers and things, but
but he never really tapped into the beyond. Thing he never tapped into the past lives. He never went full Avatar state.
He never went full Avatar state. Right.
Even the 210 bit and stuff, he was trying to give a bro high five, like he wasn't trying to
and it was such a high five.
Oh man, that's good stuff. This episode was crazy.
This episode is.
I think that we had some really good theories. I think we had some really good crackpot theories in there.
I can't believe I was actually right. Like that, they just came out. And
I can't believe you were right either.
That.
Because so you said that in the previous episode, and I was like that just seems weird. So before we watched this episode today, I went back and watched the previous episode to be like, okay, let's just get a refresher and get everything ready. And I saw the Tenki Shimura, and I was like, why would they show the full name? Like, there's this kind of thing where they say the last name, Todoroki, or
exactly. And it totally could have fit as something of just we're saying his name and it's not actually Shigaraki, so we're saying the full thing so that you know what his name is.
What his actual name is.
Just a first introduction. It's like the comic bold thing, for when they say something important.
Right. But in this case, it felt like no. They are intentionally doing this.
And I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I that was ridiculous. I think if anything, you're tapping into the themes of lineage in My Hero Academia.
Yeah, and because they had been referencing the previous one for a holder a lot.
Now, my thought is there going to be anything like anything else that's really big coming up in the episodes, like maybe the very next episode, beyond just a continuation of the fight between All for One and All Might, the flashback potential, people, just observing a fight going on that's crazy,
and Bakugo being like, I guess I'm out of there.
Well, no, they're already going out of there. But what else could there be? Maybe what the League of Villains do?
I don't know.
Because that's a great point. If Kurogiri ends up waking up, there could be a slight chance that they're able to warp
All for One
out. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think Kurogiri is done for a while. He's going to be sleeping.
Headshot.
Yeah. But that's the other thing. Do you think that a hero, a pro hero, is going to come in and actually be the one that double taps All for One to make sure that he's actually down and he's not just...
I could see that happening, something where All Might basically visibly does the last of his One for All powers.
It's 98% of what he needed, but
but
All
it's
for
not
One's
quite enough. Yeah,
All for One lumbering over to him, and it's
and then all the other heroes show up, and it's okay. like the equivalent of he gets pinned to the ground with guns to his head.
Right. I almost don't really care which way it goes. I just want to see All Might go completely all out. Yeah. Whatever happens after that, I am okay with.
You know what would be really amazing?
What's that?
Is if All Might is getting weak, right? And he's using the last of his powers.
Okay.
And then Deku basically comes back. He doesn't fight All For One, but he jumps in the way.
He jumps in the way.
He jumps in the way, and it becomes something like when he was like, remember in the very beginning when the first episode when he's like standing in the way of Bakugo, you know, and he's like, stop that, that's me, right? Because the thing that I really want to see from the opening is where All Might's standing there and Deku's standing there with him as an equal, but one of the things they've done a lot is having Deku be the hero for All Might in a lot of ways when he needed to. Yeah. And they could reverse the situation and have it literally be him standing in the way of All For One.
Wow.
To protect All Might.
I like it. I think that because of the way they left, it won't happen. But
Probably
I
not.
really love the imagery.
If they did do that would be so cool.
What I'm more thinking about is if All Might fades, he's done. There's going to be some point in the future where All Might will get probably targeted by villains and he won't be able to defend himself.
Sure.
And Deku then stands in his way.
Sure.
And
there
it's
we
kind
go.
of the quirkless boy in All Might getting protected by the symbol of peace in Deku.
And
it's just a fun it's a fun switch,
either way, whether they did that here or like later or whatever, that would also be a way to kind of reveal Deku as the next All Might.
Oh my gosh, that would be so good. Yeah. All right, guys, well, I think that we missed a couple things in terms of like discussion points, like maybe a couple things with the League of Villains. I really loved Shigaraki's emotion
that was so good.
The leaving of that bit.
Yeah.
But we're going to call it for now. This was a very long discussion. Yeah. Very good My Hero Academia episode.
Amazing.
So much fun that we get to do this. I am just
this
giddy.
Show exists.
Just like we get to watch it live. Too. Like there's something special about that. I don't know how to describe it. So I love that I get to watch it with you, Jacob. We're bros. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, if you want to watch our full-length reactions, go check out link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on our Discord there and chat with us about stories, or just chat with us after recordings that we do for this, because we do sometimes like have more like we just watched the episode, let's talk about this kind of discussions, non-spoilery of course. But if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.